ready. Activate wide angle. And use AGC mode once. Copy wide angle lens and AGC mode once. Let's go to page 54.
Страница полста 4.
54.
Акселерометра по КРЛ 06 08 00.
060800 is the accelerometer activation time. 0608 00 00.
Принято.
Copy.
По КРЛ резервная батарея 0609 00.
060900 backup battery activation via KRL. Copy 060900 backup battery. 061000 dynamic ops activation -1 minute. Page 55. 55. And you should have SUS settings for groups 1 and 2. Yes, we have them. 07:42:33 is the re-entry time. 07 42:33 42:33.
Дата 09/12/25.
Date 09/12/25.
ТСКД 07:09:46.
SCADET TIG 07:09:46, and the delta V is 128.0. Copy. Did you write down the data for 55? That's correct. Group 1, 1266. Group 2, 0220. 07:42 is the re-entry time. Current date 09/12/25. SCADET TIG 07:09:46, and delta V is 128. Continue in page 56.
Запреты КВ у вас должно быть 06:55.
06:55:00. You should have infrared horizon sensor inhibit. We confirm that. 06:55.
Работаете. За 10 минут до СКД 06:59:46. Запишите.
06:59:46 is 10 minutes to SCADET TIG. You have time 8 minutes prior to TIG. That's 07:01:46. Confirm that.
ТСКД минус 8 07 01
07:01
46.
46, 8 minutes prior to SCADET TIG. SCADET TIG minus 1 minute, 07:08:46. That is correct. Page 57. We are ready. Okay, Delta V 128 and burn duration is 442. Copy. SCADET TIG 07:09:46, Delta V 128, and then write down 07:10:46. 07, 10, 16. That's Escadet TIG plus 30.
Переходим на страницу полсотни 9.
That's correct. So let's go to 59.
Данные по двигателю ТСКД 070946, ГК 071428.
And we have engine cutoff at 07 14 28, Escadet TIG 07 09 46, 07 09 46, engine cutoff 07 14 28.
Все верно, страница 60.
That's correct. Let's go to page 61.
Готовы?
We are ready.
ГК у вас записано 0714.
You have engine cutoff at 07 14.
38 запишите.
07 14 38 is engine cutoff plus 10. Engine cutoff plus 10, 07 14 38.
Все верно.
That
Страница
is
62.
correct. Page 62.
Готово?
We are ready.
Разделение за 6 минут.
6 minutes prior to separation, 07 32 04.
07 32 04.
07 32 04.
07 32 04.
07 32 04.
Подтвердите это разделение за 2.14 и за минуту 14.
And you have separation time minus 0214 and minus 0114. Yes, minus 0214, 07 35 50, and separation minus 1 minute 14 seconds, 07 36 50. That is correct. Let's go to page 63. We are at 63.
63 страница, продиктуйте.
Please read it aloud. Separation time 07 38 04. Yes.
Время СТД.
STD time 07 40 40.
Справа уставки.
Okay. Settings on the right.
Уставки, имеется в виду по 63, да?
You mean on 63, right?
63, все верно, да.
63, that's correct.
При входа уставки СУС. Так.
Re-entry time and SUS settings.
Время входа 07 42 33.
07 42 33 is the re-entry time.
Уставки СУС.
SUS settings
1 2 6
01 266 for group 1, group 2 0220.
Все верно, страница 64.
That is correct. Please give me re-entry time on page 64.
Время входа 07.
Re-entry time 07 42 33.
Верно, страница
That is
65.
correct. Page 65.
ОСП за минуту минус
Main should
8:31.
deploy minus 1 minute 07 48 31.
7:48:31.
07 48 31. And main should deploy at 07 49 31. We confirm 07 49 31.
Страница 248.
Now 248. Escadet TIG plus 8.
248.
248.
248.
248.
Так, ТСКД плюс 8. Готовы записать.
Escadet TIG +8, ready to copy.
1746.
07 17 46.
07 17 46.
07 17 46.
Фаворы, данные сверены.
Favore, we checked the data.
Приступайте к проверке герметичных скафандров.
You are go to proceed with suit leak checks, and please provide a running commentary. It's page 42.
Принято.
Copy.
Работаем по 42 странице. Готовимся к проверке герметичности скафандров.
We're on page 42, suit leak check.
Прекратилась подача 2. Текущее давление 793. Работаем по 42 странице.
We're in page 42.
Дуплекс УФУ есть, РПВ-1
We have duplex intercom, manual ISO valve open, and we are pulling the pull straps. Continue in page 42. Don't forget about kneecaps and valsalva.
Фавору ЦП Москвы, ответьте.
Favore, Moscow.
Фавору ЦП Москвы.
Favore, Moscow.
На связи, Фаворы.
Go ahead, this is Favore.
Фаворы, по проверке герметичности
On
скафандров
suit
выполняйте
leak
все
checks, please complete the steps. We will have an 8-minute AOS, LOS.
Приступайте проверка герметичности тока под 44.
And if you're complete with suit leak checks by then, please proceed with hatch leak check. What time is the LOS? Inaudible, but please provide running commentary anyway. 0554, copy. Unintelligible.
0442 РДР, да?
0442 42 is the enable dynamic ops command. And before that, you need to check suits for leaks and do the hatch leak check. Copy.
Привязная затянута.
We secured the restraints. Kneecaps are installed. We're donning gloves.
Принято. Левая птица, здорово, наверное. Принято.
Inaudible. Copy.
Кричать. Кинобед, 3 щелчка. Принято.
Don gloves. 3 clicks. Copy.
проверки герметичных скафандров.
Moscow Favori, we are stepping into suit lead checks. We don't gloves. We have ventilation. Pressure regulator is in position 04. We're closing visors and monitoring ventilation. Left is closed. Copy.
Закрыть 2 щелчка.
Closed. 2 clicks.
Поехали. Первый есть у вас?
Right. 005 for the first one, 005.
Один.
01.
30 секунд первый.
30 seconds for the first one.
01 час. 035.
035. Once you get to 035, please report the time and close RDSP.
Plus 5.
25.
035.
0.30. 1 minute 33 seconds. We can open the visors. Okay. The visors are open and you can close the epicap valve. Copy. Favori, MCC Moscow. For page 43.
Так, докладываем.
All right, reporting.
Время наполнения.
Time
До 0,1.
to pressurize the suits up to 0.1 is almost the same for everybody, about 30 seconds.
0.
For 0.35 for suit 1,
Минута
1 minute
18.
18 seconds. For the second one, 1 minute 33. And for the third one, 1 minute 25. The visors are open. And the pressure regulator is at 0.4. And the pressure in descent module is
Давление 827.
827.
Следующее данное.
CPO2
210 сработал.
210, and we got the notification about air unintelligible.
Первый.
What's the reserve?
Второй секции 191.
And the first section is 191.
Кислород на баллоне Сальский
In
26.
SA02 tank 266.
Тумблер ПБК введен.
Do we have the PBK switch primed? Yes, we do. All right, you can continue with the
Принято. Готовим.
leak checks and prepare S7 command. We have S7 primed.
Закрываем РПВ-1.
Close RPV-1 valve.
Принято.
Okay, S7 is ready.
Так, по команде.
Okay, and on the go.
Готов.
I'm ready.
3. Так, сбрасываем на 150.
All right, go down by 150.
600. Пока же до 700.
Down to 600, actually 700. All right, sending the command to release the pressure by 150. We have the notification КСДБО open. We are prepping ОВК 11 command.
Выдаем.
All right, sending the command.
Так. Текущее давление.
And the current pressure in BO is
90.
590.
Открыт КСДБО не горит.
And КСДБО open is not illuminated.
На время 04.
And for
давление.
0403, a sub pressure is
825.
825.
БО давление.
BO pressure is 600.
Данные приняли.
All right, we wrote it down. And I will remind you about the 5-minute measurement.
Принято.
Copy. We'll remind you about the 5-minute measurement.
Favore, до 5-минутного завера 30 секунд.
Favori, you have 30 seconds till 5-minute measurements. Favore, we've got the measurement ready for 0408. SA pressure is 827. BO pressure is 605.
Вас понял.
Copy.
Замер запрошу.
And I will request the 10 minutes measurement
Принято.
in a little bit. Copy.
Johnny, you want?
Favore, через 30 секунд.
Favore.
10-минутный замер.
We will need a 10-minute measurement in 30 seconds.
Favore, по Москве, готов.
Favore, MCC Moscow, we are ready to copy. Favore, MCC Moscow, 10-minute measurement is ready. ESA pressure is 824.
БО давление
BO pressure is
604.
604.
Данные принял. 15-минутный замер. Подскажу.
We copy, and I will remind you about the 15-minute measurement.
Принято.
Copy.
You are looking live at the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft attached to the Prishal module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. On board that spacecraft, 3 crew members of the Expedition 73 crew, NASA's Johnny Kim, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zubritsky, all suited up, ready to undock from the complex about 25 minutes from now to begin the ride home and the completion of a 245-day mission. Good evening from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Everything is in readiness for the departure of Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zubritsky. They climbed aboard their Soyuz spacecraft a few hours ago, donned their Sokol launch and entry suits, conducted leak checks on their side of the Soyuz Prishal docking interface, as well as leak checks of their Sokol launch and entry suits, and as we said, everything is in readiness for the actual physical separation of the Soyuz from Prishal at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time, 8:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Their destination is a very chilly steppe of Kazakhstan, southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, about 91 miles south of Zhezkazgan, for a Tuesday morning touchdown at 10:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Kazakhstan time, which will be 11:03:55 here in Houston, 12:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Eastern time, just after midnight Eastern Time on Tuesday morning. That parachute-assisted landing will be met by a team of Roscosmos, Rosaviatsia, RSC Energia, and NASA personnel who are embedded in the search and recovery forces, who will be making their way to the landing site very shortly. We'll have more on the landing and recovery operations for these 3 crew members in just a few moments. The International Space Station is currently flying 262 miles over Madagascar, moving from southwest to northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. As we mentioned, the three returning crew members, NASA's Johnny Kim, Soyuz Commander Sergei Ryzhikov, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexei Zabritsky, climbed aboard their Soyuz spacecraft, closed the hatch a few hours ago, and conducted leak checks on their side of the docking interface, as did the remaining expedition crew members on the station side of the docking interface. So we have an airtight seal ready to depressurize that small passageway or vestibule prior to the time of the command to open up the hooks holding the Soyuz to the Prishal module. The Prishal hooks themselves were opened just over an hour ago, just prior to the completion of the leak checks at the docking interface. A few hours ago, the departing crew members gathered one final time with their space station counterparts to offer a few final words that signaled the beginning of the end of their time on orbit. You see Johnny Kim there on the right, Sergei Ryzhikov in the middle, in the front row, and on the left, Alexei Zabritsky. They were joined by the crew members who are remaining aboard the International Space Station. The new station commander, Mike Fink, he's in the back row, second from the left, joined by NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Chris Williams, Kimmya Yui from the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and three Roscosmos cosmonauts, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, Sergei Mikheyev, and Oleg Platonov. At the time of physical separation of the Soyuz from the Prishal module, about 21 minutes from now, that will mark the official end of Expedition 73 and the beginning of Expedition 74. And here, again, several hours ago, you see the crew members waving goodbye one final time before entering the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft. There on the right is NASA's Mike Fink, who is the new space station commander and will be for the remainder of his mission on board the complex. Once the hatches swung closed, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, one of the newer arrivals on board the International Space Station, conducted leak checks on the station's side of the docking interface. At the time of landing for the Soyuz spacecraft a few hours from now, Kim, Zabritsky, and Ryzhikov will have completed 245 days in space and aboard the space station itself, 3,920 orbits of the Earth, a mission of some 104 million statute miles. By the way, that's the equivalent of about 208 round trips to the moon. For Johnny Kim and Alexei Zabritsky, this was their first flight into space. For Ryzhikov, his 245 days on this mission will have brought a total of 603 days in space for him on his 3 flights. That puts him 13th on the all-time endurance list. This trio of space travelers saw the arrival of 9 visiting vehicles and the departure of 6 visiting vehicles. Ryzhikov and Zabritsky conducted a pair of spacewalks during their time on orbit, totaling 13 hours and 3 minutes. We are about 6.5 minutes away from the flight control team here in Houston, led by Flight Director Heidi Brewer, polling the team here in Mission Control for a go for undocking. The sequence of events after that call for an undocking command to be issued at 7:40 p.m. Central Time, 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time. That basically initiates the opening of the hooks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface with the Prishal module. That procedure takes about 90 seconds to complete, followed by springs on both sides of the docking interface pushing off against one another to actually create the physical separation of Soyuz from the Prishal module and the International Space Station. At that point, Expedition 73 goes into the history books. Expedition 74 formally begins. There's a crew portrait of the 7 crew members who will remain aboard the International Space Station. At the top, Mike Fink, Zina Cardman, Kimia Yui, and Oleg Platonov. At the bottom, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, Chris Williams of NASA, and Sergei Mikheyev. The undocking itself is scheduled at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time, 8:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. There will be a pair of separation burns, small firings of the Soyuz thrusters, the first being 8 seconds in duration, the second about 15 seconds in duration, to create the opening rate between the Soyuz and the station. It will travel to a safe distance away from the station, about 41 kilometers away from the station, for the big burn. That'll be the deorbit burn that is scheduled at 10:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Central Time, 11:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. That burn, which is basically a braking maneuver, it's a retrograde burn of 4 minutes and 42 seconds in duration to slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second, allowing it to basically fall out of orbit on its high-speed entry back into the Earth's atmosphere. Some 24 minutes after the deorbit burn, the pyrotechnics will be initiated to separate the 3 sections of the Soyuz spacecraft. The upper section, as you see in this diagram, is the orbital module. Right after the deorbit burn, that orbital module will be depressurized to vacuum in advance of the module separation itself. The 3 crew members are strapped into their respective seats in the descent module. That's the center section of the 3-section Soyuz spacecraft, with Zubritsky in the left seat, Sergei Ryzhikov as the Soyuz commander in the center seat, and Johnny Kim in the right seat. The call sign that you'll be hearing from Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov will reference favore, or favor, in the English spelling of the term. That is the name of a mountain range in Russia that Ryzhikov chose as the call sign for his Soyuz vehicle. Again, the separation of the 3 sections of the Soyuz scheduled at 10:38 and 4 seconds p.m. Central Time, 11:38 and 4 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Just about 3 minutes after that, the Soyuz, the descent module, that center section, traveling with its heat shield in the direction of travel, will reach the upper traces of the Earth's atmosphere, some 420,000 feet above the Earth, traveling quite fast. That will occur at 10:41 p.m. Central, 11:41 p.m. Eastern Time. At that point, just about a minute and a half later, plasma will begin to build up. That's the result of the heat that will build up around the Soyuz spacecraft that reaches some 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat shield, of course, will be repelling that heat as the Soyuz barrels its way toward the landing site on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Once the spacecraft and its 3 occupants exit the plasma regime, they'll feel maximum G-loads on their bodies, the first tug of gravity in some 8 months of spaceflight. The maximum G-loads of about 4 to 5 Gs against their bodies expected to occur at 10:47 p.m. Central, 11:47 p.m. Eastern Time. The command to open the parachutes on the Soyuz will occur at an altitude of 10.6 kilometers or 6.5 miles above the Earth, 34,777 feet to be precise. That command to open the chutes is expected at 10:49 and 31 seconds p.m. Central Time, 11:49 and 31 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. That parachute deployment sequence is triggered by a barometric pressure sensor at an altitude of 41,000 feet. At that point, the main parachute cover is jettisoned by pyros and springs, pulling out 2 extraction chutes, which in turn pulls out the drogue chute. That in turn pulls out the main chute. This all takes about 20 seconds to occur. Then at 21,300 feet, a barometric pressure sensor starts a timer that triggers most of the remaining events in the landing sequence. At an altitude of just 18,000 feet above the Earth, commands are issued to jettison the heat shield, inhibit the entry thrusters, and to open up valves to vent all the hydrogen peroxide fuel for the entry thrusters and the oxygen in the life support system tank. You've seen, perhaps in past Soyuz landings, a white vapor emanating from the spacecraft. That is normal. That's a combination of hydrogen peroxide and oxygen venting into the air. The purpose of this is to safe the vehicle for landing. The search and recovery forces do not want hazardous gases to remain in those tanks when the soft landing thrusters fire just a second or two before touchdown. This way, the ground support team can approach the vehicle immediately without any concern for hazardous gases. If all goes as planned, landing will occur at 11:03 and 55 seconds p.m. Central Time, 12:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Eastern Time, 10:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Kazakhstan Time. That'll occur about 91 miles southeast of the town of Jezkazgan, 2 hours and 6 minutes after sunrise at the landing site in Kazakhstan.
Let's open manual ISO valve 2. Here it is.
The NASA team that flew into Kazakhstan over the weekend, they received their helicopter assignments and flew on an Antonov 26 aircraft from the main staging city of Karaganda, Kazakhstan, to the forward staging site in Jezkazgan, Kazakhstan last night. They overnighted in Jezkazgan, now have made their way to the airfield in Jezkazgan, where they will board a half a dozen helicopters en route to the landing site, taking off in sequential fashion to arrive in the vicinity of the landing site around the time that the Soyuz will be approaching its touchdown point. They will form a circular racetrack pattern around the landing site. The voice and telemetry from Soyuz will be relayed through that Antonov fixed-wing aircraft that will send all of that voice and data back to the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. As is typical for a Soyuz entry, we do expect a loss of signal in voice communications from Ryzhikov aboard the Soyuz when it reaches a point about 128 kilometers away from the station. The antennas on the Soyuz and the antennas on the station will not be close enough to provide voice relay. So the communications, as is always the case, is expected to be a bit choppy from time to time until the Soyuz, with its familiar beep-beep from its beacon, reaches the vicinity of that Antonov 26 at the landing site, and then we should be good to go for a touchdown about 91 miles southeast of the town of Jezkazgan.
I have Sudan power, onboard computer ready.
На input 2, ТВС форматом.
And select TV system display on input 2. Okay, I'm priming command R17.
Подготовил, выдаю.
The command is ready. Sending the command. Transmitter is on. Display plus TV mode.
We are less than 9 minutes away now from the command for the undocking. Again, this command that will be issued
the approach display
at 7:40 p.m. Central Time, 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time,
for dynamics
is designed to open the hooks holding the Soyuz in place, latched on to the Prishal module, to which it has been attached since April 8th. It'll take 90 seconds for the hooks to fully open, initiating springs on both sides of the docking interface to push off against one another, and then we'll have physical separation.
30 секунд до ТРДР.
30 seconds to dynamic ops enable command. That's correct.
20.
20.
10.
10.
All of the activities leading up to the anticipated undocking just a few minutes from
5,
now have gone very
4,
smoothly. No
3,
issues reported.
2, 1.
Again, the
Commanding.
departing crew
04,
members, Kim,
33,
Rizhikov, and
0,
Zabritsky,
0, we
floated into
commanded
their Soyuz
to
vehicle
enable
at
dynamic
4:30
ops.
p.m. Central Time, closed the Soyuz hatch behind
I
them,
have
began a series of leak
rate
checks before
sensors
donning their
powered
Sokol
up,
launch and entry suits,
prop system
conducted leak checks
pressurization, accelerometer power,
in the suits themselves, and everything is in readiness for their departure.
with your go prior to TV more. I selected wide angle length. I'm activating AGC mode. Yes, press it once.
Выдал один раз пересветку.
AGC mode once.
Принято.
Use nominal. Copy.
This view is the same view that the three crew members are seeing inside the descent module on their control panel.
Commanding TV more.
This is the external camera cross-haired view from the Soyuz MS-27.
I have soft dock.
You're familiar with that cross-haired engineering view. You'll
Indicator
see the data in the lower left-hand screen represent the distance that the Soyuz will have backed away from the International Space Station and its rate of departure.
I'm activating the headlight.
Выдаем.
S-17 commanding.
Включили фару.
We activated the headlight. ISS power connection is not lit.
Не горит.
Docking system remote control is not lit.
С вашего разрешения 04 39
With
00.
your go, we are ready to power up the docking system at 043900. I confirm 043900. That's command D7 from the command control panel. Copy.
Again, a great view of the Soyuz MS-27 in the final minutes before its departure from the Prishal module. Less than 4.5 minutes now before the command is issued for the undocking. Once again, physical separation will occur 90 seconds after the issuance of that command. Just to reset some of the upcoming events, the undocking command is scheduled just over 3 minutes from now at 7:40 p.m. Central Time. 90 seconds later, physical separation. 3 minutes after physical separation is the first of 2 separation burns of the Soyuz thrusters. This will be an 8-second burn to increase its departure rate by 0.53 meters per second. The second separation burn occurs about 1 minute and 20 seconds after that, a 15-second burn to further increase the opening rate by 1.61 meters per second.
30 секунд.
30 seconds.
Готовы через 20 минут выдать.
Just over
Yes, we're
a
ready to
minute
command
away
in
from the
20 seconds.
undocking command being issued to begin the trip home for Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky, and a chilly
10,
homecoming on the steppe of Kazakhstan on
5,
Tuesday morning.
4, 3, 2, 1. Commanding.
Дмитрий 7.
D7, D11,
Дмитрий 15.
lit, D15, lit,
The
G17
Soyuz
lit,
docking mechanism has now been
S13
activated.
lit, PS8 mechanical connection is
Ваше
lit.
разрешение в 04:40:00. Готовы выдать команду на открытие крюков.
With your go at 4:40, we are ready to command hook opening.
Открытие крюков в назначенное время 04.
Yes, you have a go to command D17 at 04:40.
Принято через 20
Copy,
минут.
commanding in 20 seconds.
Д-17.
Standing by for the issuance of the undocking command.
10, 5,
5,
4,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
Выдаем.
Commanding.
And the command has been sent to open the hooks. This will take about 90 seconds to
Hook
complete.
closed,
С-13
not lit.
не горит.
S13 is not lit.
Люк закрыт.
Transfer hatch closed is lit.
The hooks are driving according to telemetry being received
And I
at the Russian
have
Mission Control
prompted
Center.
some pressurization.
Принял, ожидаем расхождения действия.
Copy, awaiting separation. Copy.
Принято.
About 30 seconds away from physical separation.
Есть погасание механсоединения.
Mechanical connection is not lit.
Есть расхождение.
And we have undocking.
41:36.
044136. I have separation. Docking system mode is complete. Soft dock is not lit. I have attitude system readiness 1 and 2. And
Продолжаем расхождение до того.
indicator mode is not lit. And we are
Undocking confirmed at
continuing to separate
7:41
from
and
the
30
ISS.
seconds p.m. Central Time
Thank you.
as Soyuz
Inaudible.
of the International Space Station flew 262 miles over eastern
What's the
Mongolia.
interface condition? Let me see.
Expedition 73 in the history books. Expedition 74 now
Docking
officially
interface
underway.
is clean, no FOG, and we're continuing to separate.
Фаворы, состояние стыка подтвердите.
Favore, please confirm interface condition.
This view from the Soyuz external engineering camera.
2 minutes to first burn.
That first burn, as mentioned, an 8-second burst of the Soyuz engines. That will initiate a faster opening rate. Johnny Kim, Sergei Ryzhikov, and Alexei Zabritsky on the way home. Undocking occurring flawlessly on time at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Через минуту ожидаем включения ДПО.
In 1 minute, we'll have depot burn.
Up until the undocking, for the first time in history, every single docking port at the International Space Station had been occupied. Now there is an open parking place.
Favori, Moscow on interface conditions. I reported that the docking interface is clean and there are no debris. We're continuing to separate. 10 seconds to thruster firing.
Есть включение ДПО.
I have thruster firing.
And the first of the two separation burns being conducted.
8 seconds. Burn complete.
And it was a nominal burn, 8 seconds in duration.
We have attitude
The second burn
lit.
of
We
15
have roll
seconds in
maneuver.
duration, about 1 minute and 20 seconds from now.
Экипаж МКС, ЦУП Москвы в канале СГ-1 для
Есть обобщенный ГСО.
I have attitude readiness, and we are waiting for
The
the second
Soyuz
burn.
reported to be stable, flying over southeastern Russia.
Отвечаю.
Сереж, можно переводить
30 seconds.
ТК в положении закрыто.
Принято в работе.
Это
Goodbye.
Standing by for the second separation burn.
Есть включение двигателей.
I
And the
have
burn is underway.
thruster firing for the second burn.
7 секунд.
7 seconds.
10.
10.
Перемещаемся вдоль оси станции в сторону американского сегмента.
We are translating towards the USOS. The burn
And
is
the second
complete.
burn of
Depot
15 seconds in
firing
duration
is not
was
lit.
nominal. So the Soyuz
command
has
V18
increased its opening rate
And
on the
continuing
International
page
Space
50.
Station after an on-time departure.
Copy. Victor 18 is primed. We're sending the command. The command is sent.
Работаем по странице 50.
We are
Конец временного цикла.
continuing in page 50. We have time cycle completion.
Не горят.
Rate sensors not lit. Accelerometer is not lit. Prop system pressurization is not lit. And we're priming Ivan 1. What's the
Иван-1 горит.
E1 status? It is lit.
Готовим. Андрей, не трогаем.
We are priming Andrei 11. Don't touch.
С вашего разрешения готовы выбрать первый коллектор.
With your go, we are ready to select first thruster manifold. That's correct. A11. Commanding A11.
Есть погасание Андрей 13.
Andrei 13 is not lit.
Готовим к D8.
Priming D8.
отвечаем СГ-1.
As the Soyuz MS-27
The
moves
command is
further and
primed.
further away from the space
Send the
station,
command.
the
D8 is
search
not
and
lit.
recovery
D11
forces
is not lit.
called
D17
Rosaviatsa,
is not lit.
with NASA
G17
personnel
is not
embedded
lit.
in the recovery
S11
team,
not lit.
will soon be making their way to
Deactivated
the
the,
airfield in
headlights,
Zhezkazgan, the
S18,
forward staging area for
MCC
tonight's
Moscow.
landing and
With your
recovery
go,
of the
I'm
crew.
ready to go off the big screen.
Выдавайте РО-ориент.
Yes, command rotation controller in attitude control mode. Copy.
All of the Soyuz systems reported to be in great shape. Next up on the checklist of timelined events will be the deorbit burn. that is scheduled at 10:09 and 46 seconds Central Time, 11:09 and 46 seconds Eastern Time. A 4-minute, 42-second braking maneuver to slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second.
In attitude control mode, and we're stowing the translation hand controller in transmit position. Copy.
A good view of the Soyuz near the limb of the Earth as it flies from northwest to southeast, now crossing the Kamchatka Peninsula. On board, NASA's Johnny Kim and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zabritsky. We're about 3 hours, 13 minutes away from touchdown of this vehicle, the descent module, a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan.
Moscow, Favory, circle tank pressure 167, second section 171, 491 is the prop pressure, and with your go on ready to deactivate video. Let's deactivate video, Favory. We have a go, copy.
Отключил телевидение.
I deactivated video at 04:51:20.
Фаворы Москвы. Признак спуск введен. Уставки на спуск заведены.
Favory, we have descent flag. The settings are ready, and we'll be working on page 54, but we have plenty of time before that. Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're just joining us, you're looking at the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft, having undocked from the International Space Station about 13 minutes ago at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time, 8:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Eastern Time, as Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 262 miles over eastern Mongolia. Aboard the Soyuz, NASA's Johnny Kim and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zabritsky are in the home stretch of a 245-day mission in which they will have traveled almost 104 million miles. Their destination is the chilly steppe of Kazakhstan, some 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, where the Rosaviatsa search and recovery forces will be awaiting their arrival. After touchdown, the main event will be to extract the crew, place them in comfortable chairs by their capsule so that they can have a few minutes in an effort to try to regain some equilibrium after 8 months of weightlessness. They will be brought in those chairs into a nearby inflatable medical tent where they will remove their Sokol launch and entry suits, get into more comfortable clothing, receive initial medical exams, and then be brought into 3 nearby helicopters, Russian Mi-8 helicopters, 1 for each crew member, to be flown back to the prime staging city in Karaganda, Kazakhstan, which is northeast of the landing site. Kim will board a NASA plane to fly back to Houston. Ryzhikov and Zabritsky will board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft to fly back to their training base and their home in Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow.
Фаворы по Москве.
Favore, Moscow.
Фаворы на связи.
This is Favore.
Фаворы, все идет штатно в соответствии с программой полета.
Everything is nominal according to the flight program. Please stay online.
Будем работать по странице 54.
We expect the next com session at 0600 and we'll be performing steps in page 54. Copy. Next com session at 0600 and we'll be performing page 54. And please be on comms. If there are any questions, we're always ready to answer. Copy. Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. The Russian flight controllers in Korolyov outside of Moscow continuing to have a dialogue with Soyuz commander Sergei Ryzhikov aboard the Soyuz MS-27 along with Johnny Kim seated to his right and with Alexei Zabritsky seated to Ryzhikov's left in the center section of the Soyuz, the descent module. The Soyuz moving to a safe distance away from the International Space Station for the initiation of a deorbit burn at 10:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Central Time, 11:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. This is basically a braking maneuver to enable the Soyuz to drop out of orbit for its high-speed entry back to Earth.
Москвы, ВГ-1 по радиограмме 55. Отвечаем, ВГ-1. Миш выполнил съемку сколочного узла.
Fading from view, the Soyuz MS-27 on course to reach a distance of some 41 kilometers away from the International Space Station for the initiation of a deorbit burn about 2 hours and 9 minutes from now. The three crew members aboard the Soyuz, Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky, launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome back on April 8th. It was a two-orbit rendezvous, which is typical now for crewed Soyuz missions. They reached the station just over 3 hours after their liftoff, docking to that Prishal module, the same docking port that they departed from about 22 minutes ago. The crew saw the arrival of 9 visiting vehicles and the departure of 6 visiting vehicles. And while on board, Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky were part of the commemoration of the 25th anniversary of a permanent human occupancy on the International Space Station, as well as the arrival of the new Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency cargo ship, the HTVX-1. As the Soyuz is just about out of view from cameras on the International Space Station, the initial report from the NASA team embedded with the Rosaviatsia Search and Recovery Forces is that they are departing their hotel in Zhezkazgan for the airfield there, where they will board the Russian Mi-8 helicopters eventually to fly down to the landing site. Right now, the temperature in Zhezkazgan is 20 degrees Fahrenheit with light snow. The Russian flight controllers are in the process of uplinking landing site coordinates for the onboard computers on the Soyuz. The landing site will be about 91.3 statute miles southeast of Zhezkazgan, with the landing occurring 2 hours and 6 minutes after sunrise. Sunrise at the landing site is about 52 minutes from now, with the deorbit burn planned for 10:09 and 46 seconds Central Time. This is Mission Control Houston with the Soyuz MS-27 now having passed out of visual range of external cameras on the International Space Station. We have an animation that will depict the next several activities leading up to the touchdown of the vehicle on the steppe of Kazakhstan. As we just saw, the whole entry process begins with the undocking of the Soyuz. Of course, that occurred a short time ago at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time. The Soyuz backs away to a distance of about 41 kilometers away from the International Space Station for the deorbit burn, which is a 4-minute, 42-second retrograde braking maneuver to slow the Soyuz down and allow it to drop out of orbit. Some 24 minutes after the deorbit burn is complete, pyrotechnics will separate the three sections of the Soyuz. The crew, of course, strapped into their seats in the descent module with the heat shield in the direction of travel to repel temperatures that will build up to about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The first major activity after that will be the command to open the chutes, first drogue chutes, then the main parachute, and just a few seconds before touchdown, the soft landing thrusters will fire just about 1 to 2 seconds above the ground. That is a final braking maneuver to soften the landing for the crew on board, and the Soyuz will be home. Landing is scheduled tonight at 11:03 and 55 seconds p.m. Central Time, 12:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, 10:03 and 55 seconds a.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan, about 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, where the Rosaviatsa search and recovery forces will be moving to the airfield there to board Russian Mi-8 helicopters to make their way to the landing site for the recovery of the crew. We will be back on the air at 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for deorbit burn, entry and landing, and the recovery of the crew on the steppe of Kazakhstan. So stay with us throughout the evening for the final chapter in the 245-day mission of NASA's Johnny Kim and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zabritsky. With Expedition 74 now officially underway aboard the International Space Station, we'll take a pause and we'll be back with you in about an hour and 20 minutes. This is Mission Control Houston.
Go ahead on 2. Москвы фавором.
Moscow, favore.
Москвы, как принимаете фавором?
Moscow, favore. How do you copy?
Тут Москва на связи.
Favore, this is Moscow. We read you loud and clear.
Как самочувствие?
How are you?
На борту порядок.
Everything's fine on board. We're feeling fine.
Работаем по 54-й странице.
We are working per page 54.
Проверили параметры ГДУ.
We checked out the KDU parameters, and
Второй сектор 172.
167, 172 are the pressures in the
Команду на включение СД.
tanks, and then 401 is the prop level.
По 54-й странице подготовка к работе.
And then we are ready to
Принято.
send the prep the as their command. Copy. We will prep the A5 command. We have A5 prepared and LEDs illuminated.
Первый
As the off is not illuminated, we selected the first manifold for KDU, and Vizir Prichal or approach is not illuminated. OVK is prepped. That's for the descent flag. And we are standing by for the accelerometer activation. Copy. At 060800, that's the time via command radio link. Moscow, favore. 0608 is the time of accelerometer activation. And we have TVS ready. Copy. And we confirm KDU repress, and descent flag is already TS4, has been primed quite some time ago. Copy. Stand by. Standing by. We confirm that the backup battery got activated at the time indicated. So we confirmed the S6 went through, and we are working with TVS system. Copy. Ten is when I sent the relay command, and the indicator is illuminated.
Картинку получаем, фаворы.
We are receiving the video, favore. Copy.
Принято.
And we're standing by for the start of the mode in about 10 seconds. Favore, that is correct. Stand by. All right, continue working for page 55. We confirm dynamic mode inhibit is no longer illuminated. It is removed. Damping. Combined GSO, no. Indicator mode CVM confirmed. Flexible cycle confirmed. KDU repress confirmed. Favore, please reports on
Принято.
attitude build. Copy. The indicator mode is no longer illuminated. We confirm thruster firing. We confirm GSO-1. We have OSK. We confirm EKV is powered up. We confirm infrared horizon sensor is on.
Здесь включение питания ИКВ в работу.
We have
Началось построение ориентации.
EKV infrared horizon sensor, and we confirm vertical build.
Анализ ангажа 0,7.
For the pitch, we have 0.7.
Продолжается приведение к вертикали.
All right, we continue building the local vertical.
До включения двигателя 55 минут.
We have 55 minutes till thruster activation.
Работали депо.
Depot thrusters were activated. We are in stage 3.
Идет подстройка зеркал ИКВ.
And we have mirror EKV. Favore, MCC Moscow. Favore, MCC Moscow. Go ahead. How do you copy me?
Слышим.
Loud and clear. Favore, we copy. Let's do the time check.
Время
06:15, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. That's great. So we're done. Favore. Copy.
принято. Назначился четвертый этап, идет
All right, we are in stage 4,
Местная вертикаль
and we have the vertical built precisely.
favor, доклад принял, 4-й этап.
Like 2015 is when the calculation is complete. Depot thrusters are done firing, and that's going to be for the yaw.
Идет разворот
09.
180.
I wonder if it's Благовещенsk below us. It looks very, very similar. The yaw maneuver is about to be complete. Our angular rates are decreasing. 621.57. We have the attitude GSO, and we confirm visually unintelligible.
Вас понял. Приступайте по контролю уставок по шагу 5, страница 55.
Принято, приступаем к контролю ставок.
Copy. You can start monitoring the settings.
Уставки СУС первой группы.
Settings number 1, 1, 6.
Второй группы.
For set 2, 0, 2, 2, 0.
Время входа.
T re-entry 07 42 33.
Уставки соответствуют.
The settings are correct.
Тормозной импульс
The
128.
retrograde maneuver is 128
079.
079.7.
Перехожу на формат БДО.
And I am moving on to BDO display.
Выполняйте фаворы.
Контролируем на формате БДО.
On the trajectory display, we are monitoring
СКД. Дата включения
unintelligible.
09 12
09 12 27.
07
T activation
46.
TIG
Время разделения
09 0
07 30
09 48 6.
04. Время входа
T re-entry
07
07 42 33.
Дельта В спусковое
Delta V is 79 and 7.
соответствует. на
Two
формате
settings are correct on the trajectory display, and I'm moving on to the PRVI display.
Продолжайте формат ПРВИ ГЦ-1.
Формат ПРВИ
All right, on the manual display,
дата включения 09
manual input panel 09 12 25, time 07 09 46,
128 и 0.
Delta V 128, TIG 128.
Дата
The range is correct. How copy?
Принял по странице 56. Продолжайте. Продолжаем работать.
Вас понял.
We copy.
Фаворы, примите условия в районе посадки.
All right, and the location at the landing site.
Готовы принять?
All right, we are ready to copy. This is Oleg Kononenko with you.
Доброе утро.
Greetings, Oleg.
Доброе утро. Сергей.
Sergey,
Месте посадки 735.
735 is the atmospheric pressure at the landing site.
Минус 6.
735.
735 is the pressure at the landing site.
Температура минус 6.
Temperature is minus 6.
Минус 8.
Ветер.
And what about the wind?
Ветер точки посадки 5 метров.
The wind is 5 meters.
Принято.
Облачность 9 баллов.
Спасибо.
Пробка
We copy.
500 метров.
Where the wind gusts up to 9 meters per second. We copy. And we'll be happy to see you on the ground. Copy.
Фаворы, продолжаем работать.
Favore. Continue working for page 56. That's going to be step 7.
Шаг 6.
Please select
Атмосферное давление.
step 7 and put in the atmospheric pressure.
Фавор, если меня слышите, давление.
Favore, if you copy, 735 is the pressure, and you need to use the prop display.
Favore, Moscow.
Отвечаем Favore.
This is Favore. Page 56, step 6. Did you put the atmospheric pressure? Yes, 735 on the prop display. Copy. Favore, open page 66 to record the check altitude. Copy in work.
Готово, страница 66.
We are ready on page 66. 700.
Контрольная высота 700 принято.
Okay, copy the altitude 700. Let's go back to page 56.
Работаем.
In work.
Акселерометр откалиброван.
Accelerometer is calibrated.
Продолжаем поддержание ориентации.
We continue
Good evening from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room as we prepare for the landing of 3 crew members who departed the International Space Station a couple of hours ago, headed for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan to wrap up a 245-day mission. Aboard the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft, NASA's Johnny Kim and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zabritsky are just 39 minutes away from the deorbit burn, the retrograde braking maneuver of the Soyuz engine to slow them down by 128 meters per second, allowing them to slide out of orbit for a high-speed entry back to Earth, their target, a landing site on the chilly steppe of Kazakhstan, where the temperatures right now are 21 degrees Fahrenheit, moderately light winds, some light snow falling, and overcast skies. Very soon, the Rosaviatsa search and recovery team helicopters will be airborne from an airstrip in Zhezkazgan, which is about 91 miles to the northwest of the landing site. They will be timing their departure from Zhezkazgan, the forward landing staging area, so that they are arriving in a racetrack pattern around the landing site itself to greet the Soyuz under its large orange and white main parachute as it descends for a touchdown. The landing schedule at 11:03 and 55 seconds p.m. Central Time, 12:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday morning, 10:03 and 55 seconds a.m. Kazakhstan time, to wrap up what for Johnny Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky will have been, as we said, a 245-day mission on the International Space Station, in which they spanned 3,920 orbits of the Earth, a journey of almost 104 million statute miles. This is Mission Control Houston. You're looking right now at a live view from a balcony camera at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov, outside of Moscow, where the Russian Flight Control Team is monitoring the systems on the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft. Countdown clocks here in Mission Control in Houston ticking backward toward the engine firing of the Soyuz vehicle, a 4-minute, 42-second retrograde firing that will slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second, allowing it to drop out of orbit for its high-speed return back to Earth. That engine firing, the deorbit burn, is scheduled just 35 minutes and 18 seconds from now. The deorbit burn will begin at 10:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Central Time, 11:09 and 46 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Several hours ago, the departing crew members, NASA's Johnny Kim and Roscosmos cosmonauts Alexei Zabritsky and Sergei Ryzhikov, had an opportunity to say some farewell words from the Zvezda service module, surrounded by their remaining crew members who are still on board the International Space Station, led by NASA astronaut Mike Fink, the new station commander, along with NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Chris Williams, Kimiya Yui of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, Sergei Mikheyev, and Oleg Platonov. The crew members had an opportunity to gather in the Prishal module to say their final farewells before Ryzhikov, Zabritsky, and Kim floated through the hatchway, making their way inside the Soyuz spacecraft. Once they entered the Soyuz spacecraft, the hatch was closed at about 4:30 p.m. Central Time on the Soyuz side, as Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky began their procedures to conduct leak checks on that side of the docking interface between Soyuz and the Prishal module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Once the hatch was closed and those leak checks were conducted and proved an airtight seal at the docking interface, the three departing crew members donned their Sokol launch and entry suits and conducted leak checks on the suits themselves, as well as communications checks with the Russian Flight Control Team in Korolyov. Sergei Ryzhikov, the veteran Soyuz commander who is strapped into the center seat of the three-section Soyuz spacecraft in the descent module, has used the call sign Favore, that is named after a mountain range in Russia. He will be communicating during the descent of the Soyuz back to the landing site in Kazakhstan, talking back and forth with the Russian flight controllers as long as there is communications capability between the spacecraft and the Russian control center. At some point shortly after the deorbit burn, the Soyuz will pass out of communications range, reliable communications range of the control center that is normal, at a distance of some 128 kilometers. But Ryzhikov already has been instructed to continue talking and providing updates on the condition of the crew, the performance of the spacecraft, as they make their way towards the landing site in Kazakhstan to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan. Kim, Ryzhikov, and Zabritsky, upon touchdown, will have completed 245 days in space, 3,920 orbits of the Earth, a mission spanning 104 million statute miles. Of course, this wraps up the first flight into space for both Kim and Zabritsky. For Ryzhikov, he is concluding his third flight into space, and a total of 603 days away from the planet, good for 13th place on the all-time endurance list. We are 30 minutes away from the deorbit burn. This is an animation that shows the activities of the 4-minute, 42-second retrograde firing to enable the Soyuz to drop out of orbit. About 24 minutes after the deorbit burn is complete, the separation of the modules pyrotechnically will discard the instrumentation and propulsion module and the orbital module, leaving only the descent module flying in the direction of travel toward the landing site with its heat shield repelling temperatures building up to about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. About 15 minutes before landing, the parachute deployment sequence will initiate. First, a drogue chute, followed by the main parachute, the large orange and white parachute you're accustomed to seeing. Just a few seconds before touchdown, the Soyuz will fire its soft landing thrusters just a few feet above the ground, a final braking maneuver, and the Soyuz MS-27 will be home. The helicopters, the Russian Mi-8 helicopters belonging to the Rosaviatsa Search and Recovery Forces, in which there are half a dozen NASA personnel embedded in the recovery team operating this evening and actually Tuesday morning now in Kazakhstan. They will be in the Russian Mi-8 helicopters right around the time of the deorbit burn, beginning to make their way towards the landing site. It is choreographed specifically so that they arrive at the landing site to greet the Soyuz under its chute, flying in a racetrack pattern, one by one.